Hello. What you done in the last class? Can anybody recap? Hello.
Max function.
Oh, we have done random function. Oh, I must have given you some homework also in that case. Right? Do you remember what was the homework given to you? Okay, yes.
We have to implement a program on random function and also to find the
Okay.
reverse of a number.
Reverse the number. Okay. Okay. I asked one more important question that I wanted the answer, a maths equation that can, find the random numbers between a certain range. Right? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Any idea how to do that?
Ma'am, we have to create one object of random for that.
The random class you are talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
No, no, no,
I
no, no.
mean, to implement upper limit and lower limit in
Okay.
random class.
Oh, okay, okay. Without that, we cannot do.
Yes, there is one method also.
How can you do that? Can you tell me?
But ma'am, without it, we have to give boundary. It will start from 0.
It will start from 0. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. What if you start the number? I don't know. Like something like say, if you want the number starting from 2 to 9 or something, or 2 to 5 or 2 to 7. What if you start the generation like this?
Ma'am, can we give loop?
Yes. You can give loop. Okay. Loop regarding how do you plan to solve that?
Ma'am, we can use 2 loops like we used
Okay.
in that factorial question.
Okay. Oh, okay, okay. That is what we're telling. Okay. But see, random number will get randomly thrown, no? So this, if I want a
Ma'am,
random
but
number
we can
between...
specify starting and ending.
that is what.
Like
Loop
we
is
want
required for, yes.
random number between this.
Yes, but how to specify that? That was the question.
Ma'am, can we use range method?
Can you repeat that, Smriti?
Range method, range.
Range method, okay. How to do that? Can you type it out in the chat box or can you show it to me? How to include this range? Yes. I can solve one part. Another part you have to try. Okay. I'll solve one of the issue. Actually, I solved one issue in the last class itself. I showed you, no, if you multiply a random number random with 10, then you will get all one-digit numbers. Do you remember that? Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, yes. Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm solving one part, another part you have to solve. Okay. If I multiply a number, this mat.random number, by say for example 10, right? Then all the outputs that I will get will be of one digit. Why? Because this will throw, see, this will throw 0.0 not equals to 1.0, right? This numbers and not even 0.0. Okay. So if I multiply this by 10, then I will get whole numbers. If I just typecast this output, no, I can get whole numbers. See, if I'm just typecasting this to integer, okay? Because this is a double value, no. This random into 10 will be a double value, no. I'm just converting itself into integer, so I'll get a whole number in the front. See, I'll get numbers between 1 to 10. See.
Ma'am, we can add number before, like if we want from 11 to 20, we can 10 plus this function.
Yes, okay. So if I want to generate numbers beyond, say for
So, ma'am.
example, yeah.
Ma'am, we multiply it
Ma'am,
with
if we
the,
want between, like
Mm-hmm.
we want,
ma'am,
if we want between 100 to 110, we can add 100 plus mat dot random, and then, and if we want beyond this limit, like
100 plus. Okay.
100, ma'am,
And we have to
it will,
multiply it by 100, no?
yes, ma'am, it will be between 100 to 200.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Right. Because you are adding 100. So or whatever is the number generated will be beyond this. Okay. What about if I add here simple number 5 and now this 10? What will be the output?
Ma'am, it will be 50, between 50 to 60, not 50 and not 60,
Yeah.
51 to 59.
Okay. But see, it is
No,
not
ma'am, it
reaching
is
that number.
just adding 5.
Just adding 5. Yes, I'm just adding 5. So the range will be from 5 to
5 to 10.
5 to 10. I'm even getting here 11. See.
मैं प्लस में
5
रेंज
to
क्रॉस कर
15.
रहा है.
And 15
5
till
to
15.
5 to
Ma'am,
15,
because we are
right?
adding
15.
5 before. Ma'am, you have to add 5 after if you want it.
Yes, yes, yes. Correct. So this is like generating from 5 to 15, right? This is nothing but into 10, no? So if it is throwing 6, if it is throwing 6 here, then 5 plus 6 will be 11, no? If it is throwing
11.
8 here, 8 plus 5, like that, no? So last value will be 10 plus 5, highest, no? 15. Till 15 it can throw, but not 15, till 14 it can throw, right? Is this correct?
Ma'am, 6 to 14.
Yes, 6 to 14, not even 5. You are right. 5 plus something. No. Yes, 0 it will never see. This will never generate 0. This may generate 0.1. If this generates 0.1, then 0.1 into 10 will be 1. So the initial value could be starting with 5 plus 1, that is 6. Right? Are you getting what we are doing here? Then if this generates 0.2, then 0.2 into 10 will be 2. So 5 plus 2, it can generate 7, right? What is the last value? 0.9. Okay, 0.9 into 10 will be 9. So what is 5 plus 9? 14. Are you getting what we are doing here?
Ma'am,
Yes, yes, yes.
ma'am, if we want between a range, for example, x and y.
Okay.
So let us assume that y is the upper limit and x is the lower limit.
Lower limit. Okay. Yes.
Okay, so we multiply the random function with x minus y and then add the minimum.
Yes, correct. So you start this. You start with your initial number, the lowest number from here, right?
Yes.
From which you want the numbers beyond. And now, if I want the number from 5 to 10, then I may have to subtract 5 from here. No,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So it will generate less 5 numbers.
Yes.
Right? Now all the numbers will be in the range of 5 and 10 only.
Yes.
Nothing will cross beyond this, right? Then you are right. I am missing one bracket here. Okay. Yes. 5 to 10 only. It will not cross other. It will not even come to 10. Will it come to 10? It is including 5, but it is not coming to 10. If I want it to come to 10, I may add 1 over here. Then it may come to 10, right? Sometime it may come to 10. Come on. No, it's not coming. Yeah, 10 came. Yes. Okay. See, what he is telling is, can you explain it too? Can you explain? Ma'am, I have done this in different method. What different method? Panjwani? Yes, you can unmute yourself.
Can I present?
Oh, yes, yes, of course, of course. Let me stop presenting. Okay. Yes. Oh, Vidhi, you have written the formula. Oh, very good. Vidhi Parekh. Yes. Okay, yes. Smriti is using integer stream. Oh, okay, integer stream. Okay, okay. We are using random class. Oh, okay. Random class is easy to use. That I know. I was telling about without using random class. Panjwani, you are right. Of course, you are right. Yes, the same formula you can use here also. No. Yeah. See, B plus randomization minus B. Same formula you can use here also. Okay. But without using random class, can you do it? That was the question, using mat.random. But even this is good. So now you learned you can create random class object, right, Manjwani?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Good. Good. And next int is the same function. Which function you are using? Show it to me. Show me which function you are using. Next int itself.
Yes, ma'am. Next int.
Oh, okay. Next int also. Okay. 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 Good. Good. Yes. Okay. All right. So this thing. So if you want to add, if you want to generate numbers beyond a certain number, you add that number here, right? And when we were using simply 10 here, what was happening was it was generating numbers from 5 to 15. So what we did, if we want to generate a number from 5 to 10, we subtracted 5 from here. That's it. So it generates a number from 5 to 10 only, right? But this was excluding 10. So I added +1 here. So now it was generating all the numbers, including 5 and including 10, all of them. Okay. Are you getting the formula here? This formula, are you getting this formula? Hello. People are sleeping here. See.
Not visible.
Oh, my
Your
screen.
screen,
Oh,
ma'am,
then
your
somebody
screen
should.
is not visible.
Oh, okay, okay. Yes, yes, yes. I'm sharing. Okay, sorry. Okay, now can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So if you are generating numbers beyond a number, then always add that number here. This is a starting range from which you want the number to start from. And when we were just using this into 10, it was showing us all the numbers. If I try to keep a loop here, see. Bhavdeep, you can create a loop like this here. See. This will generate 50 random numbers. Right? No need of the bracket also. See, it can generate 50 random numbers, not including 15, but from 5 to 14, every number is coming, right? So to restrict the range, I subtracted 5 from here. It means it is multiplying only 5 here, right? 10 minus 5 is what? 5? No, we can simply replace it with 5 also, right? So if the number, think about the lowest number, 0.1 into 5, what will be the answer? Can you tell me? And think about the highest number, 0.9 into 5. What will be the answer? Can you tell me these two answers? See, people are sleeping this. I can say that people are sleeping here. Hello? Oh, people are still sleeping. They are, you cannot unmute yourself.
We aren't sleeping.
Oh, okay, okay. You are answering. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. So now you think about this. If I'm converting this 5, if I'm converting this output to integer, then 4 is taken, right? And highest value, this will be 0. Integer of this, no, this number, you are converting this to integer, no. So this is 0. And the highest possible value integer conversion is 4. Now you are adding 5 to this answer. So 5 and 5. So the lowest value it can take is 5 and highest value it can take is 9. You can think like this. Assume the lowest number into 5, assume the highest number into 5, convert it into integer and add 5 to it. And this is how you can think, right? If you want to include 10 also here, then just add 1 here. Then whatever is the output, +1 will be the answer, no? It can generate from now 5 to 10. Are you getting this?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody
Yes,
having
ma'am.
questions? Anybody having questions in this?
Ma'am, but this will only work for float, double, and integer. For Boolean.
Boolean. Oh, Boolean randomization. Boolean is only true and false, no?
Ma'am, but there is one method, no? Thread local random.
Oh, TL. Okay, no, that we are not discussing here now. That will come in multi-threading. You wait for that. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am.
okay. Yes.
I mean, in this case, it was 4.5, then it is rounded to 4. But if it would have been 5.5, then it would have been rounded off to 6.
No, it is not. It is just, oh, it is not rounding off. You are thinking of rounding off. No, 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 no. You are just neglecting the floating point after this point representation. No, you are only taking 5. If it is 5.5, then integer of this will be only 5. It will never be 6. No, you are truncating the rest of the part. That's it.
Okay, so when we explicitly convert float into integer, it just truncates everything after the decimal.
Yes, it will never round off. For round, you have to use the functions of math class like round and all. Otherwise, you cannot round off the number.
Okay, ma'am. Got it.
Yes. Okay. Any further questions here? No questions?
No, ma'am.
Everybody. Pima, are you getting what we are doing here? Pima, are you there? Oh, see, he went asleep. Okay, all right. See, I can do nothing. If you don't have any control on your class, then I can do nothing. If you are physically present, in front of me, then I can do everything. But now I can do nothing. See, even if he is lost, I cannot do anything. This is the disadvantage. Okay, but advantages for you people. You can just sit here and not attend the class like that. It's a pro. It's a pro for you, right? All right. Okay. Now what we are planning to start today, I was thinking to start string today. Are you all energetic for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes. Are you sure? Do you want to start today? It's a good topic.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So strings in Java. All right. I think before I open that topic, I want to open one more small topic. I want to show you all something else before I open that topic. It's all connected actually. So okay. See, you know what is stack?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Okay. Data structure. I'm opening a data structure problem here. Just data structure concept here. If you know stack, then you will also know that of all these items, if it is a stack, then always whatever is the last in will be first out, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. The same thing happens if you call functions. All right. I'll give you an example. If you remember the math class functions that we did, right? In these functions, I can call chain of functions, right? I can call chain of functions, but whichever function that you are writing last will be executed always first, and then it proceeds its way to the outside of the functions, right? Which means that when you are creating nesting of multiple functions, always the function that is core to it or which is written last, which you think mentally it will be called last, it is always called first, right? Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. In the chain of functions, it will make its way through, starting from the innermost function, then output is result is replaced over here, then this result is replaced over here. Like that, it will make its way through. The reason I am telling is that you must see the applications of stack in programming. When I am placing any function calls, all these function calls that you are placing here or any point at any point of time in any programming language, all these function calls are actually solved in case of stack, which means that if you are calling some addition function of 5,3 and then you are nesting calling another function of 5,4 like this, then the first function, the last function that you are writing will be solved first, then this will be solved first, then this will be solved next, like that. The point I'm disclosing here, the point I want to convey here is that the function calls of your program in any of the programming language is always implemented through the data structure known as stack, right? In the back end, this function calls are resolved. The more you call the functions, the bigger stack it will form. The more unwinding it will require to pop these functions out, and all the function calls are actually listed in form of a stack only. So the practical data structure that is used in the backend for implementing functions is stack. The stack will wind up as and when you call the function. This winding up will unwind when the functions are automatically called and the result is given. When a call is placed, if you are placing a call to a function, this is function's body. When the call is placed, the function is added on the top of the stack. When the call is returned, when the function is done executing, this call will get automatically deleted, popped off from the stack. But always in the sequence like this, okay? Always in the sequence like this. Are you getting what I'm trying to convey here?
Ma'am, can we say
Yes.
this same for the nested looping?
This is for nested looping.
Looping, yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. In looping also, the inner loop is solved first. That is what you are telling, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are right. In looping, nested looping also, inner loop is always solved first, and then the output is given to the outer loop. You are right in that case. Very good. Yes. One more thing I want to convey here is, wait, you all know the term recursion.
Yes, ma'am.
What is recursion? Can you tell me?
Function calling itself.
Function calling itself.
Yes, very good. Function calling itself in its own body is recursion, right? Yes. So if you, this is not don't consider it as a syntax or something, just a general something that I'm writing. If some condition is mentioned, then I'm calling the function here, else it will terminate this. Okay, kind of recursion. Some function, not any syntax, not considered any programming, it's just algorithmic syntax. If A is there, if some condition is satisfied, then you call a function. Then all these functions are actually, if in the first case, if the condition gets satisfied in the first scenario, then this A is called first time. If another time also the condition gets satisfied, A is called for the second time. Another time also the function is satisfied, A is called for the third time. These calls will never stop going on and on until the condition is false. When the condition is false, then output of this, then output of this, the output of this is printed in the reverse order. That is the application of stack. Okay, all the functions were always popped on this, pushed on this stack, and then they popped off when the function is done executing itself. That is first thing that I want to show it to you. I want to explain this to you. Showing this, I will show this to you in recursion topic. Don't worry, I'll show this to you in recursion topic, but something for you to think about. Another thing is, all the variables that you create in the program, they are also created in stack only. Okay, in stack only. And once the program ends, there is a concept known as garbage collector. Okay, GC in Java, that automatically will delete the memory occupied by all these integers once your program ends. Okay, all the integers, whatever integer that you create in your program, they will occupy the memory in stack only. Okay, always integers and functions, they both will occupy the memory in stack. But integers, until they are used, they are never popped off. Once the program ends, it is done executing, then the garbage collector will automatically pop off these variables. Function pop off will automatically happen. We did not to take care of that. Once the function is done executing, automatically the popping off is done. But for variables, after the program ends, the garbage collector will come and will sweep off everything. Like a sweeper, it will delete all the variables that memory is occupied in the memory, that RAM is freed up by this garbage collector. Okay, again, this is a very good topic. Whenever you are free, research on this, GC, how GC works in Java. If you are free, research on that. One more thing to keep in mind. I am telling you this today is heap. Do you know what is heap? Any idea what heap is?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Heap is also one kind of data structure. Okay. It is actually more complex than stack. Heap is actually more complex than stack. The reason why heap I'm mentioning over here is that all the objects that you create in Java, now you all know that scanner is working on object scan. Okay, everybody is knowing scanner, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all the batches are done with scanner. Nobody is having any question. Okay, good, very good. Okay. Now, any object that you create in Java, or one more thing, keep in mind, any array that you create in Java, any object that you create or any array that you create in Java, somebody told me in the lab today, it is having dynamic memory allocation. You are right, dynamic memory allocation. What is this? I'll open this whole world in the topic of classes, okay? But when just for now, I want you to remember this. Even if you don't understand, it is fine. Just for now. But when we come to classes, I'm going to open this whole topic. All the objects in Java are always created in heap. They are never created in stack. There is one thing. Okay. All the objects, anything that gets runtime allocation. See, whenever you are compiling the project, it will not allocate memory for this big object because you may or may not run, right? Whenever you are compiling your program, this heap is not this memory for OBJ of scanner. This OBJ and all these functions that scanner class can have, this bridge is not created when you are compiling the program with Java C. This will be only allocated at runtime when you are actually running the program. The reason is that in compilation, if it allocates the memory, what if you don't use it? It is a waste of time, no. So only when you run the program and when you are actually using these functions at that time only, functions like inputting the data from user and all, at that time only this heap gets created and the object gets created inside that heap. Until and at that point of time, this OBJ is never created. Only syntactically it is correct or not, only that is checked when you compile the program. If a syntax is wrong, then the problem. But all the variables and all, they get created at compile time only. Variables get created at compile time only. But objects get only created during runtime. They are references. They only get created during runtime because they occupy more memory as compared to variable. An object is actually the counted Xerox copy of a class here. If you are using that for just compilation, then it's a waste of memory. So all the objects will get only allocated or created at the time of run only. When you run the program, at the compile time, they are not created. So it is said that they are having dynamic memory allocation. Okay. Again, more on this in classes concept. But all the objects get created on heap. Why I am telling you this today is there are two ways of creating string. And string, this is a problem. Okay, yes. String S, you can create strings like this also. If you are creating string like this, then this string S is going to be a variable. Okay. And this hello that you are assigning here is going to be a literal from your kilos. Okay. But if you are creating a string with a different way, like if you are creating string with a different way like this, let me show it to you. As an object, string can also be created using the object syntax, new string. And here you can write whatever value that you want to write. New keyword allocates memory to this object at runtime. It's a variable, it's an object. Stack allocation, heap allocation. Are you getting this? Why I opened the stack and heap today? Okay, and this string can be an object also, and string can be a variable also. Why these two? What is the use of these two? Let me explain it to you. But before that, are we clear what is stack? Why functions are in stack, variables are in stack, and objects get only created on heap because they have dynamic memory allocation. Stack is predefined, heaps are dynamic. Okay, any questions in that so far?
No, ma'am.
Are we clear with these concepts?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. I told you this is heavy, but only if you are able to digest, I'll continue. If you're not able to digest, I'll switch on to a different topic. Are you able to digest this much? Okay. Okay, no problem. Then I'll continue. Okay. Now, this string that I'm talking about, no. Say I'm creating this variable string here. It's a variable. Wait, okay. Okay. And I told you that this will be an object. Okay. All right. Now, see, you may find that both of these strings are having same content. Okay. This is actually a static allocation, or it gets stored on stack. And this is an object which gets allocated on heap. Okay. Both of them are having same content. Okay. What happens apart from this, if I create another variable string S3 and I name it as hello, what happens in the background is, let me show it to you here only. Okay, wait. See, okay. See, what happens in the background is, when you create two string variables, not this S1 and S3 I'm talking about, okay, not this object, okay. When you create two string variables, as I said, they are created on stack. String stack is known as strings constant pool. This you will never find in any of the textbook, okay. Don't think of this as a simple textbook material. See, this is something else working in the background. So listen to every word I say, okay. These strings get always created on string constant pool. This pool, if there is a first entry, imagine that there is no S3 for now. We don't have S3. We only have S1, okay. If we only have S1 and you are storing hello in your string constant pool, and now in the next statement, if you create S3, you may, just like simple integer I who is having value 10, and just like simple integer j, it is having value 10, this will both be separate memory allocations. No. Whenever you are, whenever strings are very smart, whenever you are creating two objects, having two variables, not objects, sorry, two variables with the same value, they both of them will point to the same memory allocation. If this memory allocation is 101, then S1 memory allocation will also be 101 and S3 will also be 101. Okay. Whenever you're creating string variables, this is the case. They both will point to the same memory allocation hello. Now, if after executing these two statements, if you write one more statement that I want to reassign S1 with a different value high, then a new entry in the pool will happen and S1 will henceforth point to high. But until they both variables are having same value, in integers, they will have different memory allocation. They will not be pointing to the same memory allocation. But here, they both will be pointed to the same memory allocation. If the entries are duplicated, then there is a concept known as flyweight in Java. And flyweight in Java applies, it states that you need to have low memory consumption. If you are repeating the objects, repeating the variables, in that case, you need to reduce the memory consumption. You need to minimize the memory intake. And flyweight allows a string to have same memory allocation if the values are same. Are you getting this? See, people are asleep.
Yes, ma'am, we are getting.
Ma'am, do litters have ID?
Yes, ma'am.
Only repeat that.
Ma'am, I was asking, is
Yes,
this only
better repeat
applicable
karo
for
na, શું કહે
string?
છે?
Ma'am, do literals have ID?
Literals have
ID.
literals have
Because they are pointing
ID.
on the ID.
Oh, okay. This memory location you're talking about.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh yes, there is an hexadecimal memory location, beta. Hexadecimal memory location. Now to print this location, how to do this though? You need to work more on more statements. I am fine with that, but not now, beta, not in the class. It's a very good and a very big topic, but I cannot cover it up in the class. How to print hexadecimal memory location? It is possible. You can print it in Java. If you are free, research on that. If you're not free, I'll get back to you. I'll write a program for you and I'll show it to you how to print this. It is possible in Java, of course. Okay. Yes, now these both will have same ID. You're right, same memory allocation. You're right. And it is only possible in string. Yes, you are right, that also. Because string is having SCP and this pool's property is only, this pool can only apply flyweight concept. And this flyweight can be also applied in heap also. How to do that? All the variables that are occurring in string, they have the same literal, then they both will point to the same memory location. That is my concept here. To show this, I'll show you something else. Wait, I'll show you. Not the memory location, but I'll show you one thing here. See, if you print here S1 equals to S3 equals here, जो हमारी बात में बहुत ध्यान से समझो. Double equals is the operator in string. It changes its working. It will not equate the content of strings. Double equals to will never equate the content of string, only in case of strings. See, if you are writing integer I as 10 and j as 10, this double equals to will equate the content of the variables. Content is quite checked, equality is checked over here. But in here, content is not checked. In here, the memory location address is checked. If I print this and if it prints true, it means that they both are pointing to the same block of memory. However, to check the content of two different strings, we have one method, equals. See, equals can check the content of two different strings. If the content is same, this will print true. But if the memory location is same, this will print true. Are you getting? Equals to is not an operator that checks the content in string. It only checks whether they both point to the same memory location or not. That is what my concept is here. Are you getting this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me show the output now. If I am printing this, okay, I want to print one more statement. Let me do it here only. Wait, let me show it to you here. I want to print one more statement. I don't want to cut that. I want to add one more statement here. S1 and S2 and S2 and S3. This I want to show it to you. Sorry, S2 and S3. Okay. See, let us see the output. Okay, this is. Okay. Yes, see, this both are having same memory location. So it is printing true in the first case. In second case, it is printing true because the contents are same. Content of these two are same. Now you see this S1 and S2, they are having different memory allocation. See, literal, object, stack, heap. Are you getting this? SCP,
Yes, ma'am.
heap. Heap is having different memory allocation. A different memory allocation, different address. Same, it is printing false now. Content is same. Did you check? Content is same. No, hello. It should print true here. No, but it is printing false. Memory location is checked in double equals to. This is an interview question. Is double equals to able to check the content? No, they will confuse you in this. Okay, S2 and S3, both are SCP and heap, different memory allocation. So they are equal to is false. But now if I mention here, whether, see, if I want to take the content of object and S3 both, then S2 dot equals the content of S3. See, I'm taking the content of hello and hello. Now, do you think what this will print? Can you tell me?
True, ma'am. True.
True.
True, right? Because yes, it is checking the content, right? Last will be true. Are you getting? Double equals to, in string, the operation is different. It will check the memory allocation. Polymorphic, double equals to. Integer, different. String, different. To check the content, it will print. You have to use dot equals function. Dot equals and in bracket, whatever destination string that you want to compare. Are you getting this concept?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Any question you can shoot. Any question you can shoot. Yes,
Ma'am?
yes, Pima.
Uh,
Oh, you are
how
here.
can we know this?
Okay.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Due to network
Yeah,
issue,
yeah.
I was disconnected
Oh.
for around 15 minutes, ma'am. Right now.
Yes, you are going. You can shoot your question.
How can we know that it is in different memory location, ma'am?
Oh, okay. See, okay. How can you know?
How can
Here
we
itself you
allocate
can
it?
see. How can? See, here only you can see. See, here.
Yes, ma'am.
Only question itself giving you the answer. See, if the content of both these variables is same, right? This is
Yes,
also a string made with the value hello. Again, a string made with the value hello. If the content is same, even though when I am printing S3 double equals S2, this statement, it is still printing false, yeah? Right? Because it is checking the memory location.
Yes,
Right? In
Yeah.
integer, Pima, if you do like this, in integer, if you do like this, j equals to 10, and now if I print here, I equals j, this will print true only, no?
yes,
Because it is taking values inside it. Okay. Then here also it should be same thing, no? If the values are same, if the answer is same, string here, string here, it should print true. But no, it is printing here false. Are you getting?
Yes.
All the objects
Yes,
that you are creating, they will never get allocation in same with SCP in your pool. It will not get the allocation. Object S3 that you are creating, S2, is going to have its own memory allocation and own value of hello. Okay, this memory allocation is not same as SCP. They both are different. How to make it same as SCP? I'll show you that. What I'm talking about is, if this is your SCP, everybody listen, not just Pima. See, if this is your SCP, okay, and this is your another heap memory where S3 is created, and here you have the entry for S2 and S1 with this string hello. Here also hello is there. I'll give you a method that can point S3 to this only. How? See, I'm showing you a magical trick. See, if I make this as intern, it will automatically assign this reference to the pool of strings. See, what I'm doing is, I want this heap to be shared to SCP. I want S2 to be in the level with S1 and S3 in the same SCP. I want this to point to SCP. With the intern method, I can do this. If I do this now, then the memory location of every variable will be same. Even S1, S3, even S1, S2, even S3, S2. Everything will be same. Let me show it. See, everything here. Everybody is seeing this or not? Oh, people, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, if I just transfer this S2, if I give it S2 a promotion, this S3 or S2 promotion, and I want to make this point to your pool, and I want to make this same as SCP in your pool itself, I want all the hello to point to the same memory location. I don't want different memory locations for your hello. Only one hello to be pointed by this one. S2 and S3, all three, I just use the method intern. Intern will convert this string value to a simple value like this. If there are same values in this pool, then S2 will have the same memory allocation as S3 and S1 also. And now everything is true here. Are you getting this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Pima, is your question solved?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay, okay.
Ma'am,
Okay, okay. Yes,
one
yes.
clarification, ma'am.
Yes.
Without using inter, ma'am, will every
Uh-huh.
time the object be in a different memory, ma'am?
Yes, every time. You are correct. Without using intern, if you create here 1,000 S2 different S2 strings with, I'll show you one more thing. I want to show it to you if time permits. Wait, if I create like this, every object will have different heap allocation. Huh? It will be same. Yeah. Pima, you are there.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, yes, yes, yes. Are you getting? Every object will be in a different heap. They will never have same memory allocation. No.
Yeah, unless
Okay.
we use inter, right? Okay, ma'am.
Yes, once you use intern, it is converted. It points to the same. If your pool is having such entry, then this entry will point to that entry, so that S2 will not acquire more memory. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Anybody having any question?
No, ma'am.
Hello. People who are awake in the lecture, are you getting what we are doing here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, okay, Bharti, Vidhi, okay. Only few are answering. I can see there are 67 entries here, but only few who are actually mentally present. Pathik, Vibhusha, Yash, both the Tushars, Samir, Seth. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay, then I'm happy. Okay, now let me show you one very small thing, something interesting for you all. Let me remove this. Okay, this is something that you will use in your projects also. Huh? See, okay, let me start it with 0. Doesn't matter. Let us go to 10,000. Is this 10,000? Is it 10,000 or 1 lakh? I don't know. Check it for me.
10,000, 10,000, ma'am.
No, okay. Something very interesting. See, I am creating string variables. Okay. I am creating 2 string variables here. Say, for example, okay, h1, h2. Okay. But here, let me complex the things out. String f3, new string. Navdeep is awake?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello? Okay, okay, good, good, okay. Now, in any of the program, if you want to find the time computed, time taken by that program, okay, આપણે કહીએ ને કે ટાઈમ કોમ્પ્લેક્સિટી ઓછી થવી જોઈએ તો ટાઈમ કેમ મેજર કરવાનું એ બતાડું છું ઓકે પ્રોગ્રામમાં there is a function system dot let me current, yes, current time in milliseconds. You understand what is milliseconds? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I am recording the start time here before my loop starts, or it's a long variable. So long, okay. Before my loop, this guard starts, I am recording the initial timestamp start. Look at this, everybody, very interesting. And at the end of this loop, I am recording the timestamp. Okay. Let's make this as start 1 and end 1. And before the creation of this for loop, I am recording initial start time again, start 2, and I am recording end time again, okay, end 2. What shall I do to find the time now? Can you tell me? I have start and end. What shall I do to check the milliseconds for this loop? I have 2 values. Can you tell me?
And minus start.
End minus start, correct, right? Let us print end 1 minus start 1, and let us also print end 2 minus start 2, okay? End 2 minus start 2 and 1 minus start. Let us see if it is working with this 10,000 or will increase the iterations. Okay. I want you all to see. Oh, it is showing. See, less time, less milliseconds taken in creation of simple strings. See, end minus start 0. 1 millisecond taken in creation of object. Even memory is more occupied, and the time taken for creation of these objects is even more. I want to show this to you. Are you getting what I'm showing this? Hello? See,
Yes, ma'am.
I am creating simple strings, variables, just like integer, literals, right? It is taking no overhead. But imagine the loop is not for 10,000, but for 2 lakhs or 1,000. Imagine it's in n raised to n complexity. Means it's an exponential time. Then this will be taking more overhead. Who will take more overhead? Create the objects. Okay. Creation of the objects will take time also, and will occupy a space, a separate location in heap also. So we always prefer creating variables in string. Both the ways are correct. There is no error in this. Okay. Syntactically, both are correct. But if you are functioning for efficiency, then you will create variables and not objects. This is the difference I want to show it to you. Okay. Any questions so far? So far, any questions? Is this an overload lecture? I can repeat the lecture if you want. I can repeat anything that you want. If it is overloaded, you tell me right away. Okay, we can stop. Okay. Okay. Any questions if you have, you shoot right away. Next time we'll do this methods of string. Different methods are there of string class. Even you, if you are free, you can explore it. Very easy methods are there. You try to do this when you are free. Okay. Try to explore the methods of string class whenever you are free. Very good and very easy methods. Okay. Okay. If you have no questions, anybody is having any questions? No. Okay. Okay. Let me take attendance. Then you all can leave. Okay. Okay. Ayush.
Present, ma'am.
Rohan.
Present, ma'am.
Bipin. Manav.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Anuj. Riddhi. Vidhi.
Present, ma'am.
Riddhi was. Yes. Riddhi is not there. Okay. Yashraj. Somebody is on. Okay. Yes, Josh. Good. All right. Yashraj is present. No. Josh present. Nancy. Nikita. Nathan.
Present, ma'am.
Yes. Smith Kumar.
Yes, ma'am. Present.
Yes. Devansh.
Present, ma'am.
Divyajit.
Present.
Yashang.
Yes, ma'am.
Dipen.
Yes, ma'am.
Tushar. Tushar is not there. You others can leave the session. No? Attendance is taken. No, you can leave the session. Oh, only one Tushar is there. Other Tushar missed the lecture. Yash.
Present, ma'am.
Darshan.
Present, ma'am.
Darshan Parmar.
Present, ma'am.
Yes. Udayraj.
Present, ma'am.
Yes. Rishabh.
Present, ma'am.
Ivanchi.
Present, ma'am.
Janvi.
Present, ma'am.
Dhanushali.
Present, ma'am.
Harshvardhan.
Present, ma'am.
Vijay Raj.
Present, ma'am.
Radhanya.
Present, ma'am.
Aarti,
Present, ma'am.
Avinash,
Present, ma'am.
Pranjul, Limbani,
Present, ma'am.
Arjun, Maharana, Tanmayraj,
Yes, ma'am.
Vignesh,
Present, ma'am.
Panjwani,
Yes, ma'am.
Sushil Prasad,
Present, ma'am.
Dhruvi,
Yes, ma'am.
Naitik. Naitik was there, no? Okay. Dharmik,
Present, ma'am.
Mohammed, Kunal,
Present, ma'am.
Nidhi,
Present, ma'am.
Arpit,
Yes, ma'am.
Meghna,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, Ramdha,
Present.
yes, Bhavdeep,
Present, ma'am.
Divya,
Yes, ma'am.
Saif Ali,
Yes, ma'am.
yes, Samir, yes.
Present, ma'am.
Divya is present. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. AI 42
Divya?
present. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Yes. Yes, Samir is also present. Saif present. Isha,
Present, ma'am.
Vibhucha,
Present, ma'am.
Om. Okay. Aditya,
Present, ma'am.
Hitesh. Triplani is absent. Aditya Jain,
Present, ma'am.
Jay Dhakan.
Present, ma'am.
Yes. Priyank, Tushar,
Present, ma'am.
Nikita,
Present, ma'am.
Girish. Okay, Nikita present. Girish,
Present, ma'am.
Pathik. Okay, okay.
Present, ma'am.
Pathik.
Present.
Yes. And women number 62. Shri.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. 61. 59.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 60. Okay. 63. Nah. 61.
Present.
Yes. Okay, okay. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. 13. Mohammed is present.
Present, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
60, yeah. 65 is there.
Ma'am, AI 32
present.
Netik has marked you present. Netik. 32, no.
AI 64 present, ma'am.
AI 64. Yeah, 64 present. Okay. 65 is absent. Okay. 73. 61 is present. Okay. 60. Okay. Okay.
7-3. I'm here, ma'am. 7-3.
Yes, yes. Ima, you are
Ma'am?
present. Yeah.
Yeah, 7-3.
73, I'll mark you present. Okay.
Ma'am, AI 32.
70.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. Okay. 13. Mohammed present, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Present.
Darshan Raj. Yeah.
Ma'am, AI 32.
Okay, Darshan is present. Okay. Just 1 minute. I am not done actually. Jaideep,
Present, ma'am.
Priti. Yes. Vaishali. Vasu. Kunal.
Present, ma'am.
Raj.
Present, ma'am.
Yes, it's done. 67, okay, let me check. 67, present only. Yes, you can leave. Arjun, I am marking you present. I am marking you present, done. Yes. 60, I have marked you present also. You also is present only. Kalab is present. You can leave the session, yes. Whoever is having questions can stay, others can leave the session.
Ma'am,
मैम
Yeah.
वो
Yes.
शीट आपने दिखाई थी ना,
कौन सी शीट?
उसमें आपके प्रोग्राम्स थे बहुत सारे।
हाँ हाँ है ना मेरे पास।
हाँ मैम, वो एक कोई भी मेल कर दोगे मैम प्रैक्टिस के लिए?
Okay. See, I have mailed assignment 1. No, I'll mail assignment. See, I have to arrange those questions. They are unarranged. So that's what I'll do is I'll make assignment 2. See, those are for loops only. So your looping part is done. Assignment 1 is simple programs. Assignment 2 is loops. Okay. In assignment 2, I'll put all those questions. I'll arrange them and put it. Okay. No need to worry.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Naitik, you're saying something. Naitik. Yeah, what you were saying.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I was also asking for the same questions.
I'll post assignment 2 in 1 or 2 days itself. Okay, you will receive all these questions. Okay. Yes. You all can leave the session.